Shabbat Shalom, and welcome back here to Light to the Nations. In the continuation of the cycle of Torah of this year, we are, as you know, in the book of Bemidbar, Numbers. And today we are going to continue with the portion of Korach that is going through the chapter 16 to the end of the chapter 18. So it's a blessing, as I always said, telling you to be with you here. It's a blessing to be on Shabbat. You know, the weeks are becoming really tough sometimes. I think we are all are going through struggles, and having Shabbat to disconnect from the week working days and to connect with YaHuWaH in a more deeper way, I think is a blessing to all of us. And having the chance to have this virtual gathering, this virtual fellowship, I think is it's a blessing to all of us. So I want to welcome all of you. I see 32 of you connected. Even my daughter is in the chat. Welcome, Angela.
Sí. Hello, Angela.
Hello, Angela. We said Angela in Spanish.
And you call it Annie.
Annie, correct. So actually, we have two Annies in the chat now. So I see many of you connected. It's a blessing. You know, I was having some funny time reading some of the chat at the beginning before starting the technical configuration. But I see Shannon, keep digging. I see Barry Hanson. This is so nice to have you live, Barry. I know that you don't have the chance to do it live most of the time, but it's so good that you are with us here. I see Pam. I see Annie. We saw higher. Who else is here? We see Shannon. We see who else? I'm just scrolling down. We see Yaya. Welcome, Yaya.
Yeah,
Camila. We see Polly. Who else? Elysian Seeker. That's good. Who else? Yarash. Welcome, Yarash.
Yeah. DDK. Yeah, we were missing you.
Yes. Welcome back. Who else? Chirion.
Yeah. Dennis and
Much
Davis.
blessing to you both. Who else is here? Just taking a look. Come on, a minute here in the Tyler. We see Tyler here in the chat. So welcome all of you. It's so nice to have this time
William
together.
James Van Rensburg.
You know, we were a little bit concerned of the connection because it was raining a lot here in the last few days.
Mary Puzzle.
Yeah, welcome, Mary. With a strong wind going on. We are not in Santiago. I know that in Santiago is even worse, the situation.
Yeah, even then.
So we are here in the south of the country, enjoying the nature.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think this portion is going to be an interesting one.
What is the meaning of Korach?
You know the meaning?
Well, we have two meanings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at the beginning, I always thought that it was bald.
That's the most normal.
Without hair.
Yes.
And yesterday I found another one, and it says that it's eyes.
Okay.
And it could be, because I remember I heard a name of an Israeli lady, and I think that she was Kara or something like that, and she was explaining that the meaning of her name was coming from ice, from snow, that kind of stuff. So maybe it has something to do with that. Yeah, with the cold.
Could be. If you see something during the broadcast, on my shoulder, don't be afraid. This is a visitor from a neighbor.
Visitor, that we have.
So just in case, you know, I'm just giving a heads up. Don't to be scared that you will see on time.
A bear.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, let's start. I think I have not read the portion. You read it, I think.
I have read it, yeah, but in the...
I just remember from previous years. I have the notes from last year as well. So let's see what the Ruach is bringing to the heart. And as I always tell you, as I always telling you, you know, we are here in front of the camera because YaHuWaH has decided to do it like this. But we are here, all of us are servants of YaHuWaH, so we are here to grow together in knowledge and in the truth of the word. So if you have something to share with the rest, go ahead, put the comments in the chat. If you have any question regarding the portion, go ahead and put the question. Hopefully at the end of the broadcast, we're going to spend 5 minutes that we have been doing in the last few weeks to try to answer any question as much as we can.
Yeah.
And, we are, all of us, we are so in need of prayers. So put your prayer requests here in the chat. We need to pray for one another, especially in these times. There's so many things happening in the world, so many things that we need to keep all of us in prayers in order to endure until the end, in order to have the strength, in order to have the emunah, the faith, in order to fulfill our calling in the kingdom of Abba. So I think it's important, if you are in need of prayer, put your prayer requests here in the chat, and we will be keeping you and the entire family here, keeping you in prayers. Last technical question, just put in the comment if you are able to hear us well, because the technical stuff here is totally different to the other place. So I want just to make sure that you are able to hear us well and to see us well. Our faces is not going to change.
We cannot do anything
with the camera. But at least that you can hear us well. Just put the comment in the sound great. Okay, loud and clear. Perfect.
Yeah.
And I will be monitoring the drop frames here. If you see, keep the connection in your prayers throughout the broadcast, so we're going to be able to continue the study without any problem. So as we always do, let's move on. I have a song to share with you here. It's a beautiful one. So meditate on the melody, but most importantly, meditate on the lyrics. So here we go.
בכל ליבי רוצה להידמות יותר, רק לדמותו, בכל מילה מבט וכוונת הלב, בכל מחשבה אליו להידמות. אל דמות ישוע בכל ליבי רוצה להידמות יותר, כל כישרונות ידי אניח לפני פודי, בכל פועלי אליו להידמות. להידמות רק לישוע, להידמות לבן עליון, לתת לרוחו לפעול ברצונו כל יום, להידמות רוצה רק דמות ישוע בכל ליבי רוצה להידמות יותר, רק לדמותו, קדוש להיות עניו, אוהב בו שהוא אהב, בכל מאודי אליו להידמות. להידמות רק לישוע, להידמות לבן עליון, לתת לרוחו לפעול ברצונו כל יום, להידמות רוצה רק דמות ישוע בכל ליבי רוצה להידמות יותר, רק לדמותו. הן הוא קנה אותי, הן הוא אדון ליבי, לי הוא קרא אליו להידמות.
Wow. What a beautiful song, right? That should be our goal, is to be like YaHuWaH HaMashiach. Let's pray for a moment. YaHuWah Elohim, we want to give thanks to you once again for everything you do for us. We want to give thanks to you for this new Shabbat. We want to give thanks for your presence and your Ruach within us. Thank you, Abba, because you have chosen us in these last days to be part of your kingdom, to be part of your people, to be part of your covenant. Thank you, Abba, because in your wisdom and your compassion and your love, you have chosen us for a purpose, for a calling, in order to bring the good news of your kingdom here to the world, in the world. Abba, forgive us for our mistakes and our sin. We are in your path, in your way of righteousness, with the desire of our heart to be like you, be like your son Yahushua. Sometimes we struggle because of we are in the world. As your son said, we are not of the world, we are yours. And we want to give thanks, because you are the one giving us the strength, because you are the one giving us the expectation and the hope in your kingdom, because you are the one giving us of your power and your Ruach in order to fulfill our purpose, to fulfill that calling that you have put in our hearts. You have seen something in us, and we want to be up to that calling. Guide us in everything that we are doing today. Give us of your wisdom, your understanding. Give us of your truth. But most importantly, give us of your Ruach, because your Ruach is the one guiding us in all your truth. I pray for this family here, Light to the Nations, that you can be with them, with each one of them, bringing hope, bringing blessings, bringing restoration, bringing shalom and love. You have given us the opportunity to be together. Maybe we don't know each other face to face, but you have increased your love in our hearts because you want something from us. And we want to serve you, we want to be ready to serve you in these times. That's why we pray to you in this moment, that you can restore us, that you can heal our wounds, that you can heal the sick, that you can give us the emunah of your son Yahushua in order to continue in this way, in order to bring and prepare the ground for your kingdom here on earth. Guide us in everything we are going to study today. Open our eyes, open our ears, and open our understanding to your word. We just want to open our heart to you, and we want to invite you to dwell within us, to dwell among us, to be our Father, to be our Elohim. We just want to be your children. Teach us, and guide us. We pray to you in the name of Yahushua, your Son. Amen.
Amen.
Parsing 60 seconds. Let's go.
Shalom and welcome to the Parsha in 60 seconds. Today's portion is from Numbers 16:1-18:32. It is called Korach. Korah and his friends lead 250 chieftains of the Israelite community to rise up against Moses. Moses tells Korah and his friends to take fire pan before God. The next day, Korah and his friends took their pans and gathered the whole community against Moses and Aaron at the entrance of the tabernacle. God shows up and wants to annihilate the crowd. Moses implores God not to punish the whole community, so God tells Moses to tell the community to get out of the way of the rebel tents. Just as Moses finishes the short speech about God's power, the earth opens up and swallows Korah, friends, and family. Fire consumes 250 men offering incense, and God tells Moses that only Aaron's offspring can make incense offering. God then plagues all of the rebels. The next day, the whole Israelite community complains about all the death. God shows up and wants to annihilate all the people. Aaron makes an incense offering and stands between the dead and the living and halts the plague, but not before 14,700 had died. Moses collects autographed staffs from the leaders of each of the 12 tribes, including Aaron's staff of Levi. The next day, Moses enters the tent, and Aaron's staff has sprouted, blossomed, and bore almonds. God assigns the Levites to Aaron to aid in the duties of the tent of meeting. God establishes a 10% tithe. And that is Korah in 60 seconds.
Okay, many important things to check today. So
Yeah.
let's begin. Let's put the scripture here on the screen. Let's change the
Version.
version to the scripture version 2009, and let's go to the book of Bamidbar,
60.
chapter 16. Good. You want to start first, or do you want me to start?
I don't know.
Yeah, we cast lots.
Okay.
I will start. So let's begin. This is in the chapter 16. I have my written one here. So if you have it, open your scripture, read along with us. So it says, starting in the verse 1, And Korach, son of Yitzhar, son of Kehath, son of Levi, took both Datan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, son of Peleth, sons of Reuben. And they rose up before Moshe with some of the children of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, called ones of the meeting, men of name. So it wasn't anyone.
Yeah.
They were leaders of the
somehow,
congregation. They were new by name. So they were leading people. And they assembled against Moshe and against Aaron and said to them, Enough of you, for all the congregation is Kodesh, all of them, and YaHuWaH is in their midst. Why then do you lift up yourselves above the assembly of YaHuWaH? And there's so big accusation, actually, you know. And when Moshe heard, he fell on his face and spoke to Korach and all his company, saying, Tomorrow morning YaHuWaH shall make known who is his and who is set apart, and bring him near to him, and let him bring near to him the one whom he chooses. Do this, take fire holders, Korach and all your company, and put fire in them, and put incense in them before YaHuWaH tomorrow. And it shall be that the one whom YaHuWaH chooses is the set apart one. Enough of you, sons of Levi.
I find it like kind of tricky.
Okay, go ahead.
Because if you remember, it was just, time ago, that it was the two sons of Aaron who died because they bring some fire. So Moshe was asking to do the same.
Good. Yes.
So it was like, okay, if I saw that two...
It's a good connection, actually.
Two other guys were... I don't know, the punishment that they received, it was very strong. They received death. And I'm asking to do the same. At least I could have, I think, well, now I know that I could have, I think that it would be in the same situation. Maybe I could have forgotten. And maybe even though I know that I'm rebelling, they were doing. And they were going to present something, but not in the right... with not the right spirit. And they were not fighting with the right cause. They were fighting because jealousy. And because they thought that all the congregation was near YaHuWaH, that they were in the same level. And even though they have this, remember that we read about the Nazarite vow?
Yes.
Well, that is a kind of connection that you can be close to YaHuWaH without being a priest. But what they wanted to do, it was to be in the place of Moshe and and Aaron somehow.
But that's the point. And let me read until verse 9 because, it's bringing more information actually until verse 10 to what's going on here. So it says in the verse 8, and Moshe said to Korach, hear now, you sons of Levi. Is it little to you that the Elohim of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself, to perform the service of the dwelling place of YaHuWaH, and to stand before the congregation to serve them? And that he has brought you near to himself, you and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you, yet you seek the priesthood as well?
Yeah.
So this is exactly what you're saying. They were not anybody.
They were already.
They were somebody actually.
Yeah.
They were chosen by YaHuWaH.
Yeah, and they were family.
They were family. Yes.
Yeah.
What they wanted to, they were against the authorities basically. They wanted to take the rulership.
Yeah.
Of Israel. And we need to understand that this was happening in a special timing. It was immediately after the punishment of YaHuWaH for that generation because of they didn't believe in him. After the 10 times they tried, this is what we were reading last week, is that after the 12 spies, they decided that they wanted to come back to Mizraim. YaHuWaH was up to here because of the 10 times they tried him. He was very patient during the 10 times, but it was too much. And it says in the scripture that he almost raised his hand in oath to say this generation is going to die in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Or you are going to stand 40 years in the wilderness. So they were rebels at that time, and they continue in rebellion. Now, even trying to remove Moshe and Aaron. Now, I was thinking, because I was taking a look in some teachings on this portion yesterday, and they didn't. This generation didn't realize that it was YaHuWaH doing everything. They didn't realize that was YaHuWaH who appointed Moshe, who appointed Aaron in those positions. Even they were the close relatives, Korach, and some of them were the
cousin,
and they were taken by YaHuWaH and they were given as a gift to Aaron. This is the way that is written in the word, and they were able to serve as a kind of a hedge of protection for the people. I don't know if in this portion that is mentioning once again, but I think we talked about this in the past, is that the Leviim, in Hebrew, the Levites, were serving as a hedge of protection in order to avoid the wrath of YaHuWaH to come into the people when they were approaching the tabernacle.
Yeah.
So they were taken by YaHuWaH for a special task, a special duty. But even since they didn't want to acknowledge and realize that the YaHuWaH was the one appointing Moshe and Aaron, they thought most probably that it was something that was coming from their own hearts, from Moshe and Aaron. That's why they wanted to take the position. So they were not believing in Moshe. And by doing that, they were almost denying everything that YaHuWaH was giving Moshe. It is not written like that, but it's just a matter to connect the points, is that they were denying that YaHuWaH appointed Moshe. So what about Torah? What about the commandments? What about everything that YaHuWaH gave Moshe to his people? They were denying this as well.
Yeah.
So instead of going against Moshe and Aaron, without realizing, they were going against YaHuWaH. And why I was thinking on this last night, I was thinking on what's happening in these times. What has been happening throughout history with this book. You know, most of the people believe in this part of the book. Yes, I think it's here. It's immediately here.
Yeah.
Most of the people believe only in this part of the book. But all of this part of the book,
It's the base.
they believe that is done away. Isn't it the same? Isn't it the same? Is that the thinking that this was written by Moshe, from Moshe, given to Moshe, given to Aaron, given to the servants from the past, is not coming from YaHuWaH. This is an act of rebellion as well.
And maybe also what we are living right now, the times we are living, sometimes when people said, and maybe sometimes we even, in my case, I have said, oh, these people are so bad, and they're doing this and that. But that is what YaHuWaH has explained that is going to happen at the end of the times. So we have to recognize that he's doing what he has promised that he's going to do. And we are, at the end, we are kind of the instrument. So that everything that he's planning is going to be developed before our eyes. So at the end, sometimes maybe we don't have emotion right now. Maybe we don't have directly Aaron. But sometimes when we are criticizing the things that are happening, for instance, remember when we were reading the letter of Peter? Kefa? In that letter, it says that we have to respect even the authorities, because the authorities that were set is under the control of YaHuWaH.
Everything is under
his control. If they are mean to us, he is the righteous judge. He is the one who is going to judge everyone at one moment. So we have to act to them as we were seeing YaHuWaH. Even though maybe we know that they are doing in a wicked way some kind of stuff. But we don't have to focus on that. We have to focus that everything that is being done is in control of YaHuWaH, and that our behavior should be the one that he's expecting from us.
So, this is something really important, because, again, when we don't acknowledge YaHuWaH in every aspect of our life, as you said, that he's in control of everything, is that is maybe we're acting in the same way that Korach was doing it.
And in small things.
Being a rebel.
Yeah.
In the small things, and not because when we do that, it's basically we are pointing and focusing in the person that is in front of us. Again, not acknowledging is that YaHuWaH is in control of everything. So it's just true what you said, that we don't have a physical leader in front of us. But we have YaHuWaH.
I know that you're going to say that.
Exactly, and actually, I think it is written, if I'm not wrong, in the book of Matthew, just to reinforce the idea. Chapter 23. Just looking for the passage here. Verse 10. Yahushua said the following: "Neither be called leaders, for one is your leader, the Mashiach."
That's true.
So is the Mashiach is our leader. And actually, I don't have the notes here, but I was remembering something. I do believe it's in the chapter 18 of the book of the Devarim. Maybe you want to put it in here in the screen.
18?
Yes.
Give me a second.
It's Devarim 18.
Okay.
Devarim.
But, sorry.
Thank you.
And?
Go to the verse 15. It says, "And YaHuWaH your Elohim shall rise up for you a prophet like me from your midst, from your brothers. Listen to him." And we know that this is a prophecy regarding the Mashiach. "According to all you asked of YaHuWaH your Elohim in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of YaHuWaH my Elohim, nor let me see this great fire anymore, lest I die. And YaHuWaH said to me, what they have spoken is good. I shall raise up for them a prophet like you out of the midst of their brother. And I shall put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And it shall be the man who does not listen to my words, which he speaks in my name, I required of him." So the last, in the way that is finishing this passage, is basically, don't be a rebellious people. Don't rebel against that prophet. And when we connect the two things, what happened to Moshe and Aaron, this is a kind of warning. Don't do the same. Don't do the same again. Listen to the voice. Acknowledge that I am appointing the leaders and appointing Mashiach. So even when I think the book of Hebrews is somehow summarizing quite well this portion. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 3.
Okay, from the beginning?
Yeah, let's do it from the beginning. It says, therefore, set apart, brothers, partakers of the heavenly calling, closely consider the emissary and high priest of our confession, Messiah YaHuWaH, who was trustworthy to him who appointed him, as also Moshe in all his house. So again, who's appointing
is YaHuWaH.
Is YaHuWaH, and he's doing a parallel. For this one has been deemed worthy or more esteemed than Moshe, as much as he who built the house enjoys more respect than the house. For every house is built by someone, but he who built all is Elohim. Again, the idea is that we need to acknowledge Elohim is in control of everything, and he is the one appointing the leaders. And Moshe indeed was trustworthy in all his house as a servant, for a witness of what would be spoken later. But Messiah, son over his own house, whose house we are, if we hold fast the boldness and the boasting of the expectation firm to the end. Therefore, as the Ruach HaKodesh says, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts, as in the rebellion, in the day of trial in the wilderness, where your fathers tried me, proved me, and saw my works 40 years. Therefore, I was grieved with that generation, and said, they always go astray in their heart, and they have not known my ways. And this is really important to stress what it's saying here. They always go astray in their heart. So everything begins
In the heart.
in the heart. If our heart is good, we will follow the path of YaHuWaH. If our heart is evil and bad, it's wrong, we will go astray. And because of that, they have not known my ways, because the heart is wrong. As I swore in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest. Look out, brothers, lest there be in any of you, a wicked heart of unbelief in falling away from the living Elohim. But encourage one another daily, while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened by the deceivableness of sin. For we have become partakers of Messiah, if we hold fast the beginning of our trust firm to the end. While it is said, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as in the rebellion. For who having heard rebelled? Was it not all who came out of Mizraim led by Moshe? This is a direct connection to what we're reading here. It was the first generation. They came with Moshe out of Mizraim. They saw all the signs and wonders from YaHuWaH. They heard the voice of YaHuWaH in the mountain. But even though they were rebels. And with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with those who sinned, whose corpses fell in the wilderness? And to whom did he swear that they would not enter into his rest, but to those who did not obey? So we see that they were unable to enter in because of unbelief. And this is again totally connected to what we have been talking here in the studies about the two-step salvation. The first step by grace, by favor, but the second step is related to obedience.
Yeah, so there is no guarantee.
Yes, we need to obey, and we need to serve YaHuWaH in obedience to his word and to his covenant till the end. And that's why when we talk about following Yahushua HaMashiach, being like him, to imitate him in everything we do, this is exactly what he's talking, is to be obedient until death. Because this is exactly what Yahushua did. He was obedient until his death. And because of that obedience, he received the crown and he received resurrection. So if we want to get in enter into the final rest, as it is saying here, we need to be trustworthy until the end. Trustworthy meaning we need to be obedient, we should not rebel. And the rebellion is coming from the heart, so we need to watch our hearts all the time. So we have a leader, he's YaHuWaH. And our leader is pointing out to the entire world. So we cannot act in rebellion as Korach, saying that, it was everything invented by Moshe. Moshe decided to appoint himself and appoint his brother, Aaron, as the high priest. So they are ruling over us. So everything was invented, was something from their minds. It's dropping all the truth that is coming from YaHuWaH. We cannot do the same. Let's go back to the chapter 16.
and maybe also he was not considering that everybody is committing sin, because he was saying like, okay, YaHuWaH is in the midst of the congregation, and YaHuWaH was making clear that he was there in the set apart place, and that he was putting the Levites, like you said, as a protection, but the people were living outside. So I think that some of the leaders, they were not, because they were taking leaders from all the tribes. It was kind of, everybody's special, so everybody has the right. So he was like not seeing that it was not a reality. So it's when sometimes we think that we are okay, but we're not that okay.
Even they saw what happened to Miriam when they were talking against Moshe.
Yeah, and it was just recently.
They saw what happened with the 12 spies. So there was something in their heart. They were not living by faith, by the Ruach. They were living by their own eyes.
By the flesh.
By the flesh. And, and this is also really, really important, because sometimes these things can come from the people really close to us.
And that is why I
it was
think
his own family.
Yeah, it was the cousin. It was the direct cousin of Moshe and Aaron. So I think that sometimes it's from family, and sometimes you don't know. You think that you are being attacked, but maybe sometimes is that you are attacking the rest of the family.
Correct. So, but what should be our attitude? I think Moshe is giving us the example here. What he did when they came with these claims.
He was very humble, and
in the verse 4, he fell on his face.
Yeah, it's like praying, or like I don't know. He was feeling I don't know how to say, very humble before YaHuWaH. So I think that kind of action was demonstrated that he was represented everybody feeling bad about the situation.
Though later on, and we're going to read just in a minute, he changed a little bit the attitude. But the first thing was to fall on his face in an attitude of
shame.
I think it wasn't shame. He was
sad.
Was sad for sure, but he was seeking YaHuWaH. Every time that we see people falling down in his face, is just basically
to the lower point.
Yes, but every time that we see it in the scriptures, because they are seeking YaHuWaH and praying in prayers. So this is exactly what I think Moshe did, is that instead of going and fight with them, he was so meek and humble that he just started to seek YaHuWaH and what to do.
Maybe that's why he said what he was saying then later.
Yeah. So let's continue in the verse 11. Therefore, you and all your company are set against YaHuWaH and Aaron. What is he that you grumble against him? So he's repeating to them, you were chosen by YaHuWaH. Now you are seeking to be rulers and leaders. And by the way, they were leader of the congregation as well. So they were seeking for the Kehunah, the priesthood. And we know that the priesthood was given to a particular family by YaHuWaH. And even though that they were leaders of the congregation, And he's reinforcing in the verse 11, you are not fighting against us, you are fighting against YaHuWaH. And Moshe sent to call Datan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, but they said, we are not coming up. It was a big fight.
Yeah, and this was the kind of the worst answer that they could have.
Is it little that you have brought us up out of the land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, that you would also seize total rule over us? So, again, the heart was so wicked that they were calling Mizraim, Egypt, the land of flowing with milk and honey. So they were taking the same words and the same statements and the same phrase that YaHuWaH was using in order to refer to the promised land as the land of flowing with milk and honey, to refer to the land of the slavery. So it's like to change the reality. It's like, as the word in the scripture said, is to call the evil good and the good evil. And it's exactly what's happening in these times. When we see the system of the beast in place in our days, most of the people are calling it.
That is
wow.
Is what they dream of.
Yep.
A lot of love, no worries.
Yesterday I was taking a look in short word from some believers. They were talking about the famous Great Reset. And one of them was making a good question. And I think this is exactly what the people from the world is going to be analyzing, evaluating, and debating within themselves. What this system will bring, more than will bring, is the promises of this system is that they will bring peace and security. Just to have a global system in order to bring equality, in order to remove poverty, in order to bring some control, in order to avoid more damage into the nature and creation, to the planet.
Your needs are going to be covered totally. So
correct. So no more violence, no more wars. So sounds really good. So what's wrong with all of that? So it's the land of flowing with milk and honey. And this is the promise. And it's going to happen exactly the same that we are seeing here. That people that are looking with the physical eyes, they will see in that world as the land of flowing with milk and honey. But if we are able to see with the spiritual eyes, we'll see that this is a counterfeit movement to the real kingdom that is coming by the hand of Yahushua, that is bringing exactly the same things that there were at the very beginning. They are coming, Yahushua is coming and bringing restoration. And it is exactly what's happening here. YaHuWaH is telling them, I'm bringing you in, I will save you. I will bring salvation to you if you are enduring until the end. I will bring salvation to you if you are obedient until the end, and you are going to be able to cross the Jordan and get into the real land that is flowing with milk and honey. But they were unable to have their spiritual eyes open, and that's why their heart were so wicked that they were looking into the past and they saw, no, that's the land of flowing with milk and honey. The system of the beast, the system of the world is the one that is giving me all these promises. Why I need to struggle, why I need to face so many persecution, why I need to face all of this if I already have everything.
And I think that is because they were thinking that that is the temporary life was the real life. So they were not believing that there is something else that is much better, that is something else that is perfect. So for them, this was everything. So I think that maybe something that also has to do a kind of, a piece of rebellion in their heart.
That's why, our prayer continually in a daily basis should be for us, for Abba, to open our eyes.
Our spiritual eyes, yeah.
To see, in order to change our heart, to remove any trace of wickedness in our heart, in order to be like a YaHuWaH, to endure until the end. Because, if we're able to do that, we are going to be living in the light and not in darkness. And if we do that, everything has consequences. And it has this is working like in different steps. So if we have our spiritual eyes open, YaHuWaH will change our heart. If he's changing our heart, we're going to live in the light and not in the darkness. And if we live in the light, we're going to be able to bring that light to others. Mm. And this is exactly what should be our calling, our duty in these times. Mm. We are going to face these kind of situations as well. I think in poor Moshe, he was so up to here like YaHuWaH. You remember it was in last portion, right? Last portion. He was telling him, please kill me.
Yeah, I don't want anything.
So even YaHuWaH was YaHuWaH and Moshe was very alike.
Yeah.
They were having the same struggles.
Yeah, I don't want to.
With this generation. So that's why what's coming next is that Moshe is hitting the rock instead of talking to rock. Because he was so upset, even in his meekness, that's why we're going to understand why he's talking in the way he's doing it. Let's continue. It says, also you have not brought us into a land of flowing with milk and honey, nor given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Would you bore out the eyes of these men? We are not coming up. So
twice they refused to go.
And they didn't want to realize it was their fault. They were the one that they believed in the evil report of the 10 spies. Because they saw the fruit of the land. They heard the report of YaHuWaH and Caleb. But they were the one with a wicked heart, believing in the rest, in the evil instead of the good. So, but they want to realize how often we fall down in the same trap. How often we fall in the same thinking, in the same mindset, that we don't want to realize our own struggles. And those struggles that somehow are stopping us to get into the rest, get into the promises and the blessings of YaHuWaH. Sometimes we are so blind that we are looking into things that are not from the kingdom of YaHuWaH. We need to be so attentive. I was reading a book this morning. Is that and it's something that we have been sharing here on the channel, how to identify the will of YaHuWaH in our lives, how to discern His voice. And one of the ways to identify this is about the peace, and John in his first letter is talking about this. When the Ruach is guiding us, we will feel peace in our heart. So sometimes we are want to be so wise in our own understanding that we are pushing in some directions because we want it, because we are working according to our flesh instead of working according to our Ruach. Because our Ruach, the one being connected to the Ruach of Elohim, is that even though that we don't have that peace in our heart, we are still pushing for it. And this is exactly what's happening here. I could say without any doubt that they were not feeling any peace inside them, but they were so convinced that this was the right thing to do that they didn't want to listen to the voice of YaHuWaH. And Moshe came very displeased in the verse 15 and said to YaHuWaH, do not respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, nor have I done harm to any of them. Then Moshe said to Korach, tomorrow you and all your company shall be there before YaHuWaH, you and they and Aaron, and take each one his fire holder, and you shall put incense in it, And let each one bring his fire holder before YaHuWaH, 250 fire holders, and you and Aaron, each one with his fire holder. So each one took his fire holder and put fire in it, and laid incense on it, and stood at the door of the tent of appointment with Moshe and Aaron. And Korach assembled all the congregation against them at the door of the tent of appointment. So everybody was there. They were such, this generation was so wicked in their heart. Maybe not everybody, but they were so weak in their heart that they were able to listen to a rebellious person instead of listening to the servant of Allah.
Yeah, because if you think about that, maybe that with the time some of them would have repented and they would have been there when they have to be there. But all the group was there. So
they were, trying and trying and trying and trying.
They were convinced.
Exactly. Then the steam of YaHuWaH appeared to all the congregation, and YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, separate yourselves from the midst of this congregation, and let me consume them in a moment. YaHuWaH was he's a patient Elohim. He is teaching us to be patient. But and this was one of the things we discussed the other day, is that the patience has its limit too. He was being patient all over the time with this generation. They were grumbling against Moshe, against YaHuWaH, because of manna, because of meat, because of water, because of everything. They wanted to go back all the time. So he was very patient. But, at the moment he saw the entire congregation again open their ears to the evil things in order to go astray, he wanted to consume all of them. But they fell on their faces and said, it's an act of compassion. Fell on their faces. And said, O Elohim of the Ruachot, of all flesh, when one man sins, are you wroth with all the congregation? And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the congregation, saying, move away from around the tents of Korach, Datan, and Abiram. So Moshe rose up and went to Datan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spoke to the congregation, saying, please turn away from the tents of these wrong men. Do not touch whatever belongs to them, lest you be consumed in all their sins. And this is something that for me has a direct connection to
the end time, when it says, don't go to her and depart from there, because it's Ikhason, I think.
In Revelation chapter 17, when it's talking about Mystery Babylon, it says in the chapter 18,
4 and 5.
Verse 4 and 5, and I heard another voice.
Should I go?
No, I think we can read it. And I heard another voice from the heavens saying, come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, unless you receive all her plagues, because her sins have piled up to reach the heaven, and Elohim has remembered her unrighteousness.
It's the same.
It's the same. So it's to depart from evil, even not to touch. Because if we touch, we are being the partakers of sin. It's exactly the same thing as Mystery Babylon. Do not touch whatever belongs to them, lest you be consumed in all their sins. Then they moved away from around the tents of Korach, Datan, and Abiram. And Datan and Abiram came out and stood at the door of the tent of their tents, with their wives, and their sons, and their little children. And Moshe said, by this you know that YaHuWaH has sent me to do all these works, that they are not from my own heart. So, why Moshe is saying this?
I think that they can think about what they're doing. Like, this is not from my own heart. This is what I'm receiving.
They were doubting.
Your actions.
Yes.
So you can think, in this case, your actions are from YaHuWaH or are from your heart. Yeah, I think that it's a kind of a rhetorical phrase. I don't know.
Do you remember a similar situation in the scripture?
I think that it was Yahushua, when he was saying, I'm not talking by myself. These are not my words. I'm talking the words of Yahweh.
There is a better one.
Yeah.
In the book of Kings, chapter 18.
Okay.
Eliyahu with the prophets of Baal.
Oh, you're right.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
they were not believing in YaHuWaH. It was only one prophet, Eliyahu, a true prophet of YaHuWaH, against all the congregation that were not believing in YaHuWaH as the true Elohim. What's happening here is exactly the same thing. It's rebellion against YaHuWaH. They were thinking that Moshe was the one, again,
like elaborating,
creating everything. It was a creation of his mind. So that's why, in order to remove any doubt, he's doing it like this. By this, you know that YaHuWaH has sent me to do all these works that are not from my own heart. Eliyahu said exactly the same. The Elohim that is going to consume by fire the offering is the true Elohim. They needed to see something. And this is also something we talked yesterday or the day after, the day before. Through the eyes. The eyes, is the lamp of the body. That's the way that is written in the book of Tehillim. Is the lamp of the body. Through the eyes, unfortunately, somehow, is the way that most of the people are going to believe. That's why, YaHuWaH was bringing all these signs and wonders in the past. That's why Yahushua was doing all this healing and doing all these signs and wonders as well. Because unfortunately for the masses, that's the way, seeing, that's going to be the way they're going to believe.
And also to be deceived.
Is to be deceived as well. That's why all technology, and it was part of our discussion the other day, is pointing and using the eyes, is through the screens, from the smallest to the biggest one. It's going through the eyes because it's the easier way to enter to the heart, even to try to touch even the spirit. And now with the, how do you say it? With the goggles?
Goggles, I think.
Yes.
It's a special lens.
It's even worse. So we need to be attentive on this push from the system of the beast, because it's trying to cut most of the people. So what happened in the story of Eliyahu? They were cutting themselves, praying to to Baal,
like dancing,
everything, but nothing happened.
And Eliyahu even
was making fun of them. Maybe he's sleepy. Maybe he
do it this louder.
He went to buy some stuff, or maybe he went for lunch. I can imagine the situation. He was making fun of all of them. But when the time came, he prayed to YaHuWaH,
and fire
came down from heaven.
And it was.
And what was the reaction of the people? YaHuWaH is Elohim. They started to shout, YaHuWaH is Elohim. Unfortunately, in this story, it didn't happen the same. We will continue reading, but it didn't happen the same. It says, so by this you know that YaHuWaH has sent me to do all these works. So you will understand, just paraphrasing, you will understand that it's not a product of my mind. It's YaHuWaH himself, the one who has been doing this all this time. Is YaHuWaH himself the one that has been appointed me and appointing Aaron as the leader of the congregation, that they are not from my own heart. This is exactly what he said. And I think I mentioned this in the past. The scripture doesn't talk about the mind. It's talking about the heart. And this is something also interesting to study. Why it's not talking about the mind. So it says in the verse 29, if these die as all men do, or if they are visited as all men are visited, then YaHuWaH has not sent me. But if YaHuWaH creates what is unheard of, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up, with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive into Sheol, then you shall know that these men have scorned YaHuWaH. He didn't make it easy.
No, it was something very specific.
And actually our prayers should be so that specific. When we pray about something, we need to be very specific. When we are praying for somebody, we need to pray in a very specific way. We are praying too generic. How Abba is going to answer us?
He doesn't know what we're
Abba,
asking.
please bless me.
How?
Okay, how? What do you need? What type of blessing do you need? Abba, please heal me. Okay.
About
About
what?
what?
Because your body is really...
Yes. We need to be so specific on what we are going to pray. You know, we have this amazing, beautiful experience when we have this trip to the States. And when we were coming from Wichita, you remember, to Kansas.
Yeah.
And it was this storm, and we prayed for the storm.
So,
And we lifted our hands, and we told the storm to get away. So we were very specific on what we were praying about. And that's exactly what happened. So this is a lesson to all of us. This is, you know, is an example of Moshe. He was not making it easy for YaHuWaH, but he wanted to make it difficult, a difficult situation, so for the people to understand they were so like a horse, you know, not looking to the sides, just to the front, not trying to realize that it was just YaHuWaH doing everything. They needed to see something extraordinary.
Yeah.
This is something we talked as well in the past. Technology is so advanced nowadays. And movies have shown so many things, fantastic things, that the heart of the people is really hard.
Yeah, because they're not moved by anything. Yeah.
They need to see something super extraordinary to believe. You know, at the moment they see something like this, this is a sinkhole. They have seen sinkhole in the news in many places. This is a climate change. Most of the people would say, you know, they will put the news. We have a sinkhole because of climate change in the wilderness. And unfortunately, I don't know, families and Korach and Datan had died.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll send some provisions to help the people in the wilderness. So this is exactly what's happening today. And it should be part of our prayer. I'm speaking too much. You need to stop me. You want to say something?
No, it's okay. Yeah, because I think that is true.
It's true.
That sometimes we are so used to the news that we are receiving today that we don't get surprised how YaHuWaH is acting. For instance, remember these places, the tornadoes that they were in the United States? We saw them and we watched the news, and we could see that it was like destroying everything, but some houses, they were like untouched. It was like, wow, what happened there? It was like the tornado was like, okay, I'm going to move from there, and it was then like returning to the same path. So nobody says anything about that. And when a fire is consuming a lot of places and maybe one house is being saved, why nobody is giving a kind of true testimony in the news and saying, I don't know, I think that maybe they were praying, they were having a lot of requests to be kept alive and things like that.
Because if not, it's not news.
It's not news.
It's not news. No, this is exactly what's going to happen with the two witnesses, as we read in the book of Revelation. You know, they're going to be tagged as a preacher of hate, intolerant. They're going to be, you know, named with many names. They're going to be persecuted. They're going to, if they appear in the news, it's just to put some names on them. All the miracles they're gonna do, they're gonna diminish this. They're gonna say this is act of nature, climate change again. But that's why, you know, in these times, what I wanted to say is that it's what we talked to my dad the other day. Is when we need to seek the most the Ruach of Elohim. Do you think Moshe was going to be able to pray for this thing if the Ruach wasn't in him? Not at all. He was working and led by the Ruach of Elohim. You know, in order to, unfortunately, again, as I said, because it's even better for the people that believe without seeing. I think they're going to get a kind of different reward I could be totally wrong, but this is what I feel. To those that believe because they see. But unfortunately, in the situation, and there's so much darkness in the world today, is that we need to seek the Ruach of Elohim much stronger than before, in order to be able to be a vessel, so the signs and wonders of YaHuWaH will appear on the earth. And these kind of things, as we said, is not going to convince people. So we need to have greater things. And Yahushua said that we are going to perform greater things than what he did. So we need to ask ourselves the question: are we prepared for that? Are we seeking that? It's not the fact that we need to seek for the signs and wonders, because we need to be very careful.
Yeah.
We can be deceived by the signs and wonders. And there's so many signs and wonders in the world today. And unfortunately, people are being deceived because their heart is so hard to know the truth. Again, acting in rebellion because they want to trust in Moshe and what was given to Moshe, what I said at the beginning. But that doesn't mean that we should not seek the signs and wonders, the true signs and wonders from YaHuWaH. Not for us to believe, it's just to be part of our service to YaHuWaH, as Eliyahu did. I think the time is now that we need to seek in that direction in order to bring esteem to the name of YaHuWaH. Not our own esteem, is to bring kavod, esteem and glory to the name of YaHuWaH. So in order to be able to reach to those that are not able to be reached only by the word, only by hearing, we need to reach those ones that are able to believe by seeing. And I know that time is coming. It was part of the discussion we have in the trip back to the States. I know that time is coming, but it's something that we should seek with all our heart in order for YaHuWaH to do it, and I think he will do it. Let's continue. And it came to be, as he ended speaking all these words, that the ground under them split apart, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, with their households, and all the men with Korach, with all their goods. So they, and all those with them, went down alive into Sheol, and the earth closed over them, and they perished from the midst of the assembly. And all Israel who were round about them fled and their cry, for they said, lest the earth swallows us up. And a fire came out from YaHuWaH and consumed the 250 men who were offering incense. Wow. So it wasn't only the earth, YaHuWaH
fire descended.
brought fire.
Wow.
And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, say to Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, to pick up the fire holders out of the blaze, for they are set apart, and scatter the fire some distance away. The fire holders of these men who sinned against their own lives, let them be made into beaten plates as a covering for the slaughter place, because they brought them before YaHuWaH, therefore they are set apart, and let them become a sign to the children of Israel. You remember what happened with the tzitzit? This exactly.
He
gave the tzitzit
as a reminder, and now.
But he gave it after.
Yeah, after the.
What happened with this man that was gathering sticks?
Yeah.
Maybe not a small stick. Maybe he was gathering logs of wood.
Yeah.
So he's doing it again. Take this one. I'm setting this as a sign. So every time that you see it, you will remember what happened. But they were so blind that even seeing, they were not able to remember. And Eleazar the priest took the bronze fire, the copper fire holders, which those who were burnt up had brought, and they were beaten out as a covering on the slaughter place, a remembrance to the children of Israel, that no stranger who is not of the seed of Aharon should come near to offer incense before YaHuWaH, and not to be like Korach and his company, as YaHuWaH had said to him through Moshe. But this was a result. That's the different part from the story of Eliyahu and the prophet of Baal. But all the congregation of children of Israel grumbled against Moshe and against Aaron on the next day, saying, You have killed the people of YaHuWaH.
Still, they don't recognize YaHuWaH doing everything. He was opening the earth. He was sending fire. But they were still thinking that it was Aaron and Moshe.
They didn't want to believe that it was YaHuWaH the one doing these miracles. So he said, and it came to be when the congregation assembled against Moshe and against Aaron that they turned toward the tent of appointment and see the cloud covered it, and the steam of YaHuWaH appeared. And Moshe and Aaron came before the tent of appointment. And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, Arise from the midst of this congregation and let me consume them in a moment. And they fell on their faces, again, in a sign of humility, in a sign of compassion. So Moshe said to Aaron, Take the fire holder and put fire in it from the slaughter place, and lay incense on, and go, hurry to the congregation and make atonement for them. For wrath has gone out from YaHuWaH, the plague has begun. And Aaron took it as Moshe commanded, and ran into the midst of the assembly, and saw that the plague has begun among the people. And he laid on the incense and made atonement for the people, and stood between the dead and the living.
Wow.
And the plague was stopped. And those who died in the plague were 14,700, besides those who died on account of Korach. Then Aaron returned to Moshe at the door of the tent of appointment, for the plague had stopped. That's a beautiful picture, you know.
No, it's not a beautiful picture.
No, Aaron.
Okay, because I was imagining the scenario of people dying and everything. It
For
was
sure.
so bad.
It's a beautiful picture in terms of our promise.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, that is
no, the action, not the picture of this. It's a foreshadow of Mashiach.
Yeah, that he can stop.
Yes, he put himself in front of the plague, in the middle of the plague and the people, in order to protect the people, to make atonement.
Yeah.
And was the plague, we were destined to die. That was
I was imagining like these horror movies, like people walking dead people and things like that. So it was kind of very bad.
People dying, and actually
It was
YaHuWaH
almost-
was mad.
It was 15,000 people.
A lot of people. So
Yeah, but only Yahushua is the one who can do that.
it's
Stop
Yahushua atonement.
Stop that.
It's the Kohen
punishment.
Gadol, the one covering the people to protect from the wrath of YaHuWaH. This is what I have in my notes. Something I have from the past here. Is the one chosen the people. We're reading here is that when the Moshe was saying, everybody brings the fire holders, YaHuWaH will show who is his chosen one. So, and that's why, we need to be so humble that YaHuWaH has been calling all of us in these times. Because if he did it, because he has chose you, he has chose us for something, And it's very similar to a story, Many people, different tasks, chosen for a particular duty. YaHuWaH is the one doing it. So he has chosen us is because of something. He did it. The other one is, then this is a little bit controversial, but I'm going to repeat it, is that is serving YaHuWaH without asking for anything in return. And where we see this is in the verse 15. And Moshe became very displeased and said to YaHuWaH, Do not respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, nor have I done harm to any of them. So Moshe is saying, I'm doing this service without asking anything from them. I have taken anything from them. And somebody else did exactly the same. Let's go to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 12, verse 1 and 5. And Shmuel said to all Israel, Look, I have listened to your voice in all that you said to me, and have set a sovereign over you. This all the story when they asked for the sovereign, Shaul, okay? And now, look, the sovereign is walking before you, and I am old and gray, and look, my sons are with you, and I have walked before you from my youth to this day. Look, here I am, witness against me before YaHuWaH and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken? Or whose donkey have I taken? Or whom have I oppressed? Whom have I abused? Or from whose hand have I received any bribe? with which to blind my eyes? Then I restored it to you. And they said, you have not oppressed us or abused us, nor have you taken any bribe from anyone's hand. So he said to them, YaHuWaH is witness against you, and his anointed is witness today, that you have found naught in my hand. And they answered, he is witness. So Shmuel was serving YaHuWaH also without asking anything in return from the people. And the last one is in the Brit Hadashah. Let's go to Corinthians chapter 9. We're gonna read verse 13 to 18. This is Shaul, Paul speaking. Do you not know that those serving the set-apart place eat from the set-apart place, and those attending at the slaughter place have their share of the offering of the slaughter place? So also the master instituted that those announcing the good news should live from the good news. But I have used none of this, nor have I written this that it should be done so to me. For it would be better for me to die than that anyone should make my boasting empty. For if I bring the good news, it is no boasting for me, nor necessity is laid on me. And it is woe to me if I do not bring the good news. For if I do this voluntarily, I have a reward. But if not voluntarily, I am entrusted with a management. And that's so truth. What then is my reward? That in bringing the good news, I should offer the good news of Messiah without cost, so as not to abuse my authority in the good news. And why I'm mentioning this? Because we see, especially on Christianity, there's so much abuse. They're taking the word of YaHuWaH in order for their own gain. And that's wrong. Totally wrong. We see the examples of Moshe, we see the examples of Samuel, we see the example of Shaul, Paul. They were bringing the good news in a voluntary way. They were serving YaHuWaH and trusting that YaHuWaH was sustaining them. In the other side, doesn't mean that if we are moved to support others in the same way that the people were moved by YaHuWaH to give the terumah for the construction
contribution,
and contribution for the construction of the tabernacle, that we should do it because it's YaHuWaH moving us in our spirit, in our heart to do it. But that's from the heart of the people, is how YaHuWaH is moving people to support ministries. But it should not be in the other way around. We are serving YaHuWaH and giving by grace what we have received by grace.
What you have received for free, you have to give it for free.
Okay, what else? Let's move on to chapter 17. Go ahead.
And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and take from them a rod from each father's house, and their leaders according to their father's houses, 12 rods. Write each one's name on his rod, and write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi. For there is one rod for the head of each father's house. You shall then place them in the tent of appointment before the witness, where I meet with you.
You know, it's in a way, YaHuWaH was closing the door for anybody else from Levi to stand up in the same way of Korach, because Korach was maybe a leader in the house of Levi. He was trying to take it. He was immediately saying here, okay, put the name of Aaron in the robe of Levi.
So
nobody's from Levi is going, even not Moshe.
No,
it was
Aaron. Because he was already chosen. And what is funny is that he specifically put that place because of what happened next. I think that place, it has something very special. Where I meet with you, and it shall be that the road of the man whom I choose but and I shall rid myself of the grumblings of all the children of Israel, which they grumble against you. And Moshe spoke to the children of Israel, and all the leaders gave him a rod each, for each leader according to their father's houses, 12 rods, and the rod of Aaron was among their rods.
You know what is interesting is that the Hebrew word for rod there is the word matah. And it's the same Hebrew word that is being translated as tribes. The word rod.
Okay.
In this one particularly. So it could be used, in the two ways. It could be rod or it could be tribe.
Okay.
So that's why it's so interesting. Is one rod per tribe. It's like one tribe per tribe.
But do you think that it was that kind of rod, the same rod that Aaron was using for doing the
It's the
miracles
same.
and everything?
It's the same.
And it's like when it's being said, the rod of YaHuWaH, the rod of Yehuda and the rod of YaHuWaH are going to be.
It's a different word.
It's a different. Okay, I was thinking that it was maybe the same. Okay. Then here, this one.
Yes.
Okay. So Moshe placed the rods before YaHuWaH in the tent of the witness, and it came to be on the next day. Wow, that is incredible. That Moshe went into the tent of witness and saw that the rod of Aaron of the house of Levi had budded and brought forth buds and blossomed and bore ripe almonds. Imagine, it was like a concentration of time. It was like a complete season was happening in only one night. And Moshe brought out all the rods from before YaHuWaH to the children of Israel, and they looked, and each man took his rod. And YaHuWaH said to Moshe, bring Aaron's rod back before the witness, to be kept as a sign against the rebels, so that you put an end to the grumblings against me, lest they die. And Moshe did as YaHuWaH commanded him, so he did. And the children of Israel spoke to Moshe, saying, see, we shall die, we shall perish, we shall all perish. Anyone who comes near the dwelling place of YaHuWaH dies. Shall we be consumed to die?
Wow.
They were really afraid.
And now they
Because
understood
they
after this one. It took 3 times, because I think the 3 things were very so close to each other. The 3 situations: the 12 spies, Korach, and now the rod of Aaron. Now there is a beautiful picture here on the rod of Aaron, and I think that's why it's being brought as a witness in the Ark of Witness. You remember what it was?
It was the bowl of manna. It was the stones with the 10 words, or the commandments, as we know, and then the rod of Aaron.
But everything is pointing out to
Mashiach. Yeah, everything is.
It is written in the book of Isaiah that from the stem of Yishai will come the kingship, or will come the king. So the stem is something that is dead. It's like the rod. It's impossible to bring, new branches and to bring new fruit. The same with the rod of Aaron. But YaHuWaH did something. He did a miracle. So that's why, the only fact that is bringing it to the Ark of the Witness is to, in one moment I think we will see these things. Is to remember, I told you, it's a kind of saying, I told you from the very beginning, the one I have chosen. Everything this is pointing out to the one is my chosen. Is Yahushua, Mashiach.
Why almond?
Don't know. No. But I think this is totally connected to the menorah. The menorah is also with the almond flowers. But why almond? I don't know.
I don't know. But I remember that once when I was looking into all the stages of the seasons, I remember, at least in the place where my parents, they live, I was taking all the fruits, the fruit trees they have, and the first one that was blossom when the spring was coming, it was the almond. It was the first one with flower. So it like saying, well, spring is near. So I think that maybe, I don't know.
It could be.
And what also caught my attention, that remember when we have this trip, it was a really nice blessing to Israel, and we were visiting this place, I don't remember the name, Timnah, and they have almond trees that...
No, it wasn't Timnah.
No, it was
Tel Shiloh.
Oh, Tel Shiloh, yeah. And they have almond trees, but for 1,000 years. So I think that is also a tree that can last a lot of years. Yeah.
Could be.
And they are giving fruit even with not watering and things like that, because it was in the complete desert.
Yeah,
Almost
that's
it
true.
was just
That's true.
so yeah.
Now, the rod here are very significant because it's given a rod for each one of the leaders of the tribes. And then when we see throughout the scriptures about rods, it's a kind of symbol of power. No, in the prophets, when we look for this word, it's talking about the power of the empires, of the kings of the earth. But it's also a kind of a symbolism of the power of YaHuWaH. Because through the rod of Aaron and the rod of Moshe, YaHuWaH performed all the miracles in Mizraim. And not only in Mizraim, also in the wilderness. So it's a symbol of power, the power of YaHuWaH.
And you know what is interesting? That usually the rods are very common on the East world, because you know that they have a lot of serpent and things like that. And usually when they see one, they use a very long stick to remove them or to take it any kind of danger. They are going to use this kind of rod to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So I think that also it's like giving you a kind of resemblance that with the rod you can throw away the
Now
snakes.
the Ark of the Covenant, what was the
measurement. I
the
think-
length?
I
It
think that
wasn't
it
too.
was like something like this.
Yes. So the rod,
Mm,
in order to be inside the ark, it
Yeah.
wasn't a long one.
no,
So that unless they were breaking it,
Maybe they
but
took only one
doesn't
part.
it doesn't mention.
no, it doesn't say anything. Yeah,
So it's interesting. And the other one that I found is that
maybe because then maybe they did, because if they have put it there, then that means that Aaron didn't kept his rod anymore.
could be. The same story with Yaakov and Tamar. One of the things that Yaakov gave to Tamar was his staff.
Yeah.
Is the same word. So it's a symbol of authority. It's a symbol of power. It's an ID. It's not a digital ID. It's a
Yeah, but
natural ID.
The
It's,
identification.
it's
yeah.
an identification. This rod, and most probably that's why it is written. You know, the name in
Yeah.
this part, the name of the person, and to what tribe was representing. Though it's not the same word of staff, it's exactly what we see, what you were remembering, the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, is the tree, because that's the word, is the tree of Yehuda with the name, and the tree of Ephraim with the name. But at the end is the concept, is that it's an identification on a particular person, it's an ID with the symbol of authority and power. And the most interesting thing is, you know, what happened in the first miracle is that the rod was becoming a serpent. And even the magicians of Mizraim, they also had rods. That's why, you know, it's a symbol of power. And also they were becoming serpents. But the rod of Aaron,
Ate them.
exactly. It's a symbol of extra power.
And it's taken from trees, so from wood. And that means that it's kind of representation of something that it's going to have some fruits. That is, even though it's died at that time, it doesn't have any life on it, but it's coming from a tree. What it has is the meaning of life. Usually you have a lot of fruits and there is a continuation. That from the first trees and everything, we have all the trees.
You remember the other video that my dad sent and we were listening? It was a very interesting one.
Yeah.
It said that, you know, is the priest of the end times. And we are the priest of the end times. And we are going to receive rods. And the rod is if this is a representation of the power that is coming from YaHuWaH in order to perform the signs and wonders, you know, maybe this is exactly what we are looking for. Is the next phase is to get that rod. from YaHuWaH.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last one. Wow.
Let's go to the chapter 18. So it says the following, and YaHuWaH said to Aaron, you and your sons and your father's house with you are to bear the crookedness against the set apart place, and you and your sons with you are to bear the crookedness against your priesthood. So they were acting as the atonement for the people. And this is, again, it's impossible not to see. This is basically allowing us to understand the offering of Yahushua. How he was able to bear the sin and the crookedness of the people upon himself is exactly what YaHuWaH is saying to Aaron, that they are going to bear the crookedness of the people against the set apart place and against the priesthood. This is exactly what Yahushua did in his offering. But bring with you your brothers of the tribe of Levi, to the tribe of your father, to join you and serve you while you and your sons are with you before the tent of the witness. And they shall guard your charge and the duty of all the tent, but they do not come near the furnishings of the set apart place and the slaughter place, lest they die, both they and you. And they shall be joined with you and guard the duty of the tent of appointment for all the service of the tent, but a stranger does not come near you. And you shall guard the duty of the set apart place and the duty of the slaughter place, so that there be no more wrath on the children of Israel. Wow, and this is so important. So how to avoid the wrath over the children of Israel? If you paraphrase this, how do you understand it?
Everybody has to do their duty, what they are calling to do.
We are being called for a duty in the set apart place. We are the set apart place of YaHuWaH all together. We individually are the set apart place of the Ruach of Elohim. This is the way that it's written. But when we read the book of Kepha, the first letter, it says that each one of us is a stone, and we are being built up to become the dwelling place of Elohim. So the mishpacha, the family, the kehillah, the assembly, we are all together the set apart place of YaHuWaH. So if we don't do our duty,
we are risking
for the wrath of YaHuWaH to come to the children of Israel.
And here's nobody's safe, because it says if they're doing wrong, then both are going to die.
Yeah.
Them and you.
And see, I myself have taken your brother the Levites, or the Leviim, from the midst of the children of Israel, a gift to you, given by YaHuWaH, to do the service of the tent of appointment. But you and your sons with you are to guard your priesthood for all matters. Here we see the difference between the priests and the Levites. At the very beginning, when I started to study the word of YaHuWaH many years ago, I didn't understand the difference between the Levites and the priests. And here we see the priests were in charge. They were responsible to bear the crookedness, and they have the Levites helping them on all the tasks and duties. But you and your sons with you are to guard your priesthood for all matters at the slaughter place and behind the veil, and you shall serve. I have given you the priesthood as a gift for service, but a stranger who comes near is put to death. So the priesthood, the kehunah, was given as a everlasting covenant to Aaron and his descendants. That's why, when we understand and when we say that Yahushua is our Kohen HaGadol, we cannot have two seats of Kohen HaGadol or two priesthoods. Both of them are connected. When we said about the under the order of Melchizedek, it's not that there is a different priesthood. It's the type of priesthood. Melchizedek was a king and priest. So it's Melech
and
Kohen. So that's the difference. But it was, YaHuWaH cannot break the covenant that he made, an everlasting covenant he made with Aaron. He cannot break it. So that's why we need to understand the connection between Yahushua and the seed of Aaron. So, and YaHuWaH spoke to Aaron as Aaron, and see, I myself have also given you the charge of my contribution, my terumas. It's exactly what we were reading in the book of Corinthians when Shaul was speaking about this. All the set apart gifts of the children of Israel, I have given them to you for the anointing, and to your sons as a law forever. Again, a law forever is a gift forever. This is yours of the most set apart gifts from the fire, all their offerings, all their grain offerings, and all their sin offerings, and all their guilt offerings, which they render to me, are most set apart for you and your sons. So, are being given to YaHuWaH, and YaHuWaH is giving it to Aaron. Eat it in the most set apart place. Every male eats it. It is set apart to you. This also is yours, the contribution of their gift, with all the wave offering of the children of Israel. I have given them to you, and your sons and daughters with you, as a law forever. Everyone who is clean in your house eats it.
And this is different because here the daughters are included.
Yeah.
In the other one, it was only for the males.
Exactly. When they were serving in the temple or the tabernacle, they need to eat it in the set apart place. And this one is given to
the kind of offering,
yes.
Because it was the grain offering, the sin offering, the guilt offering. This one are the wave offering and the gift and the contribution.
All the best of the oil, all of the best of the new wine and the grain, the first fruits which they give to YaHuWaH, I have given them to you. And this is also to understand about, there is a feast of the new oil, there is a feast of the new wine, there is a feast of the grain. You know, the grain is in Shavuot. So we don't see a direct connection in Torah about these two additional feasts, but we see a clear instruction that the people and the children of Israel, they needed to bring this offering to the tabernacle or the temple. The first fruits of all that is in their land, which they bring to YaHuWaH, are yours. Everyone who is clean in your house eats it. All that is dedicated in Israel is yours. So, you know, in the other angle that we didn't discuss about Korach, and this is also connected to the eyes, is lust.
Yeah, because maybe they were seeing.
They were seeing that this.
Yes,
all of this was given to them, to the Kohanim. So, you know, that's pure lust. Most probably that was the what was motivating him also to stand up and try to take over.
Like the hidden reason
Yes.
of all the problem.
Yes. And the other thing that I didn't mention is that what happened is that they received a huge punishment. You are not gonna cross. You're gonna die in the wilderness. You are gonna walking around in the wilderness for 40 years. So maybe it was because of fear. How come this is just an imagination of Moshe that we are gonna be wandering in the wilderness for 40 years that we are not gonna be able to cross? And that's pure fear. So last fear is somehow, those are the things that we need to be so attentive in our hearts because it could push us to do something that is totally wrong. So let's continue. Everyone opening a womb of all flesh which they bring to YaHuWaH, whether man or beast, is yours. But to ransom, you shall ransom the firstborn of man, and the firstborn of the clean beast you ransom.
Unclean.
And ransom the ransomed ones when 1 month old, according to your valuation. 5 shekels of silver, according to the shekel of the set apart place, which is 20 gerahs. And we talked already about the ransom. This is a beautiful picture of what Yahushua did for us as well. But the firstborn of a cow, or the firstborn of a sheep, or the firstborn of a goat, you do not ransom. They are set apart. They are set apart because they are being offered. Actually, it's said here, sprinkle their blood on the slaughter place, and burn their fat as an offering made by fire for a sweet fragrance to YaHuWaH. So that's why they were not able. They were dedicated, exactly. And their flesh is yours, as the way breast, and as the right thigh, it is yours. All the contribution of the set-apart gifts which the children of Israel present to YaHuWaH I have given to you and your sons and daughters with you as a law forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before YaHuWaH with you and your seed with you. So what is forever is forever. cannot change. YaHuWaH doesn't change. And YaHuWaH said to Aaron, you are not to have an inheritance in their land, nor have any portion in their midst. I am your portion and your inheritance among the children of Israel. This should be our prayer always. That's why those ones that are going to be able to dwell in the city, in the New Jerusalem, they're gonna have this amazing reward. YaHuWaH is going to give them a space. Not everybody, and we have discussed this in the past. Not everybody is going to live in the city. Many people are gonna work in the city.
They have to commute. To
Most
travel.
probably they're gonna commute. Many are gonna receive inheritance in the different tribes. But the inheritance of this one were a portion with YaHuWaH. Okay. And see, I have given the children of Levi all the tithes in Israel as an inheritance in return for the service which they are serving, the service of the tent of appointment. So it wasn't for free; they were receiving some inheritance. But that's why I'm saying that it was last of Korach in the part of Korach as well, because it wasn't enough. He wanted more. The same happened with Balaam.
Yeah.
He wanted more. He wanted more money. And let the children of Israel no more come near the tent of appointment, lest they bear sin and die. So they were not able to come near. That's why the Levites, because the Levites shall do the service of the tent of appointment, so they themselves bear their crookedness and love forever throughout your generations. Then among the children of Israel they are to have no inheritance. But the tithes of the children of Israel, which they present as a contribution to YaHuWaH, I have given to the Levites as an inheritance. That is why I have said to them, among the children of Israel, they have no inheritance. So, this is the topic of the tithes, and we were discussing in the past about this, Let me put something straightforward. And we finish in the 24, right?
Yeah.
So let's go to the book of Vayikra, Leviticus chapter 27, verse 30. It says the following. And all the tithe of the land, of the seed of the land, or of the fruit of the tree, belongs to YaHuWaH. It is set apart to YaHuWaH. So to whom belongs the tithe?
To YaHuWaH.
It said it is written there. It's not being made by anybody. It was given to Moshe by YaHuWaah. It is written there. The tithe belongs to YaHuWaH. Okay? So it's belong to YaHuWaH. We need to give it to YaHuWaH. And we discussed, I think, some months ago about this. And there is 3 types of tithe. Is the Maaser Rishon. It's in the 18, it says here 21 to 32. 21 to 32. So all the description we have here is the Maaser Rishon. Okay?
And Rishon is because it's the first one?
Is the first one.
Okay.
Actually, let's read it. It says in the 25. And YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the Levites and said to them, When you take from the children of Israel the tithes which I have given you from them as your inheritance, then you shall present a contribution of it to YaHuWaH, a tenth of the tithe. So they needed to give also.
Also, they received the tithe,
and they needed to give everybody,
tithe,
because everything belongs to YaHuWaH. Exactly. So there is another one, is the Maaser Sheni. Let's see if my notes are right here. It's in the chapter 14 of the book of Devarim, verse 22 to 27. It says, You shall tithe without fail all the yield of your grain that the field brings forth year by year, and you shall eat before YaHuWaH your Elohim in the place where he chooses to make his name dwell, the tithe of your grain and of your new wine, of your oil, and of the firstlings of your herd and your sheep, so that you learn to fear YaHuWaH your Elohim always. So that's the purpose of the tithing, is to learn to fear YaHuWaH.
Because everything depends on him.
But when the way is too long for you, so that you are not able to bring the tithe, or when the place where YaHuWaH your Elohim chooses to put his name is too far from you, when YaHuWaH your Elohim is blessing you, then you shall give it in silver, and shall take the silver in your hand and go to the place where YaHuWaH your Elohim chooses. And you shall use the silver for whatever your being desires, for cattle or sheep, for wine or strong drink, for whatever your being desires. You shall eat there before YaHuWaH your Elohim, and you shall rejoice, you and your household.
And do not forsake.
And do not forsake the Levite who is within your gates, for he has no part nor inheritance with you. So the second tie is related to enjoy this on the Moedim.
And this is on a yearly basis.
It's for the Moedim. And there is a third tie, is called Maaserani. This is exactly in the verse 28 and 29 on the chapter. At the end of every third year, you bring out all the tithe of your increase of that year and store it up within your gates. And the Levites, because he has no portion nor inheritance with you, and the sojourner, and the fatherless, and the widow who are within your gates, shall come and eat and be satisfied, so that YaHuWaH your Elohim does bless you in all that the work of your hand which you do. So the third, the Maaserani, is to give it away.
And you realize that it was, at the beginning, it was for you and your household. Then the other one was for you, your household, and also the Levite?
The Maaser Rishon is to give it away to the Levites.
Okay.
The Maaserani is to enjoy it during the Moedim.
The Moedim.
And you don't need to forgive the Levites,
Levites,
the orphans, the widows, and so on. They need to join you. In the previous one, to join you on the celebration of the Moedim. And the Maaser Ani is to give it away to the poor, to the fatherless, to the widows, and so on.
Okay.
In the third year. So, and we shared in the past what are the understanding of the tithing. You know, we are the kind of Levites. We are being called to be a nation of Kohanim. And we just wrote that the red is that we need to give the 10 of the tithes to the Kohen Hagadol. Who is our Kohen Hagadol is Mashiach. And Mashiach said, because you have given to my brothers, it's like giving it to me. It's in the chapter 22, I think, of the book of Matthew. So this is our understanding. We need to tithe, but what to do with the tithe? We need to give it to our brothers and sisters
who are in need.
And who is our brother and who is our sister? Well, I did a study here in this channel in the past about answering that question. Who is our brother? Just to make it simple, is everyone. Who is our family? Who is our brother? Is the one that is serving and doing the willing of YaHuWaH. The one keeping the commandments. The one serving YaHuWaH with all their hearts. This is exactly what Yahushua said. He was asked this question. Who is my brother? He asked a rhetoric question. Who is my mother and who is my brother? And he pointed to everyone.
Yeah. So we have like a classification, the brother, then the neighbor, and the rest. Correct.
So let's finish this chapter. I think we're just right on time.
25.
27. And your contribution shall be reckoned to you as grain from the threshing floor and as a filling from the winepress. Thus you also present a contribution unto YaHuWaH from all your tithes. This is talking about the Levites, which you receive from the children of Israel, and you shall give from it the contribution to YaHuWaH to Aharon the priest. This is exactly what we were talking a minute ago. From all your gifts, you present every contribution due to YaHuWaH, from all the best of them, the set apart part of them. And you shall say to them, when you have presented the best of it, then the rest shall be reckoned to the Levites as the yield of the threshing floor and as the yield of the winepress. And you shall eat it in any place, you and your households, for it is your reward for your service in the tent of appointment. And bear no sin because of it, when you have presented the best of it, and do not profane the set-apart gifts of the children of Israel, lest you die. So they were instructed in the same way that we were discussing in the past about the offering of Hebel and Cain.
It's the best.
We need to present the best. They needed to present the best. And it says, bear no sin because of it. What happened to Cain? He didn't present the best. And he needed to bear the sin.
Yeah. He was maybe keeping the best for himself, maybe, I think.
How do you think this should apply to us in these times? When it's talking about giving the best.
Best, I don't know.
And it says, for it is your reward for your service in the tent of appointment. That's another important point.
I think that it's, if you're talking about from the spiritual point of view, the best from all, with all our mushiness. and from the physical point of view, when we revise and when we have the things, we are going to see that not everything has the same quality. So the best, we are going to save it for this purpose.
I think this is totally connected to what Shirion put in the chat. I just saw it. What if we bring our best but with the wrong heart, motive and attitude? I think bringing the best is a matter of the heart. Let's remember the offering of the widow.
Yeah. Even though it was little.
The little, and what Yahushua said, this widow had given the best offering compared to the rest.
Yeah, because it was.
And why? Because it was from the heart. What was the terumah, the contribution in the wilderness? What was the instruction from YaHuWaH? Is that everyone that is being moved from the heart to bring a contribution. So what it means to bring the best is to bring it from the heart. Our heart will condemn us if we're not doing it. We are not bringing the best. When our heart is in peace, it's because we are bringing the best. We will know here, is the Ruach of Elohim will tell us if we are giving the best or not. Where we are doing it here directly from the heart with the right attitude, with the right motive. And we need to understand is in the same way that is written there, everything belongs to YaHuWaH. So when we are giving something away, we are giving it to somebody that maybe is in need. But we're not giving it to them. We're giving it to YaHuWaH.
And I think also the timing. Because when you have something, there is a best time for everything. So if you are keeping it, thinking that it's because it's good, maybe it's going to be spoiled at one point. So I think that is also a timing for giving the best. Yeah.
Actually, that's why we're doing these portions. It's not because we love you only.
I think that it's because
we do it because we love him.
Yeah. And at the end, we feel inside that our hearts are being filled with his love back to everybody. Yeah, that's something very nice.
So everything we do, we need to do it from the heart. We need to understand that we do it for him, for YaHuWaH. So, yeah, and any of us has a different type of contribution to give. But even if we are in a situation like the widow, we need to do it because we're doing it for the king. We are doing it for the only true Elohim. And he is with his Ruach searching through and fro the entire earth, and he will see it when we do it. So that's why we need to understand we are doing it for him.
Yeah.
So I think we are right on time to finish this study today. It has been a blessing.
Yeah.
Speaking, even though that we didn't read it before, we speak a lot. I hope this has been a blessing to you in the same way that has been blessing us. And our neighbor didn't appear.
She didn't want. I think maybe she's shy.
Yeah, most probably for the next one, she will be here. So let's spend for the few minutes, around 2, 3, 5 minutes, to take a look in the chat. If you have any question here. This is an interesting question from Barry. I haven't checked this on details. He was saying, was salt part of the best offering? They needed to offer salt as well.
Yeah, it says in one point that salt could not be minced.
Exactly, cannot minced. The offering without salt cannot.
And in the past, salt was even more valuable than gold. So it was.
Sister Payne was asking, will tithing be done away within the New Jerusalem? I don't think so. I think all of this is going to be restored. And that's why this is the time to practice how tithing it means. Maybe we don't have a land, we don't have the yield of the land, but we are receiving something, blessings from YaHuWaH. At the end, this is the blessings we receive from YaHuWaH is what we need to tithe. A kind of practice, because everything is going to restore in the kingdom.
Mira,
What else?
Niña Business.
Which one?
Niña Business. That now I understand your name. And Deborah and Daniel. Hi, Daniel. Yeah.
Amen. Thank you, Juan Carlos and Lilian. Sending
Mary
much
Boston.
love. You have the Ruach of Elohim. He will give us peace of heart, and when we make a mistake, we will make us know it. And that's absolutely right, Daniel. It may even prevent us from making a mistake. Yeah, that's why we need to be so attentive. We need to learn how to discern the Ruach speaking to us and guiding us. We are going to make mistakes, but we need to, the sooner we learn, the better. And we will continue learning all the time. You know, this is a lifetime learning period. What else? Salt is like money. That's true. Actually, it was the money in the past.
And William is going to be out next week. He's going to be, I don't know, it's a man, I think. Because you are talking about your wife's sister. I have said this before, but I think that it's really nice when you're participating in a marriage ceremony. Try to do it with the eyes of the marriage of the Lamb, and you're going to see very nice things.
Okay, we need to pray for Timothy, I think is the name of Shannon's son. The water was contaminated.
Wow. Yeah.
Daniel, thank you so much. Light to the Nations. El Padre siga bendiciendo su ministerio, su casa y su familia. Un abrazo también para ti, Daniel. Big hug for you and your family. What else? Yes, we will miss you, Willem, but we will be praying for you. You will be in our heart. Very good portion. We will be learning forever. The absolutely true, DDK. You know, sometimes we are so slow to learn, but YaHuWaH is patient with us and he's teaching us in the right timing. You know, it's like music. Barry know this by heart. Music, it has a timing. It's a pace. Sometimes with silence, sometimes with noise. We need to do it in the proper way, in the frequency, and in the timing of YaHuWaH.
Katerina G was asking, I would like to have your perspective on women wearing tzitzit and how.
I think women can wear tzitzit. There is no commandment saying that the women should not wear. The commandment is given to men to wear tzitzit, but it doesn't say that the women cannot do it. So if you feel in your heart to do it, I think you should.
And it says that you should have a blue string.
Yeah, so, actually, the form of the tzitzit doesn't mention in the scripture. The only thing that is said that is a commandment is about the blue string. It doesn't say about the length. No. It doesn't say about the
material.
The material, but it's another word that I.
And how to put the knots and things like that. But it says
the
that
shape. It doesn't mention about the shape of the tzitzit.
But it says it's for you to remember the commandments. That's the idea. And if you remember one words that Yahushua was saying, that some of the Pharisees were wearing long tzitzits, is because they want other people to see them instead of themselves. So I think that is something that when you're going to see them.
Actually, I was looking at this. Speak to the children of Israel, and you should say to them to make tzitzit. So it's talking about the children of Israel. It's not talking about men. No. It's talking about the children of Israel.
If you consider,
you can understand this about talking about men, but it doesn't say in any place about women not wearing tzitzit. So it's a matter of heart. So let's say too much salt can be bad. Balance. That's true. Blessing. Yeah, if salt loses its flavor, it's good for nothing. That's absolutely true, Yerash. And then actually Mashiach was referring to this as well. What else? We all need to remind to keep Yah's ways before us, always, men and women. True, Karen. Does it even speak of knots? No, it doesn't speak of knots. The design. That's why it doesn't mention about the shape. The only thing that is a requirement is to have the blue cord, that the blue represent, from my point of view, righteousness. Is the righteousness of the kingdom. And Yahushua said, seek first the kingdom of YaHuWaH and the righteousness of the kingdom. Speak to children of Israel, men and women. Okay. Pam, thank you, Juan and Lil, and all the moderators making this happen every week.
Moderators.
Yes, thank you, all of you. What else? Blue is royal color, isn't it? Yes, absolutely. It's a color from my point of view of righteousness. So good. You know, we are so shiny with the light.
Oh, you're true.
Yeah. So I think let's keep it until here. As I said at the beginning, I invite you to pray for one another. Let's keep the entire family in your prayers. I'm going to ask you the last request. You know, I see only 26 likes. If you can go and do this favor to us, your contribution by liking the video, because I think this is the way this YouTube platform works. More likes, I think, much probable for people to get these studies. And this is exactly what we need to do, is to bring the good news of the kingdom, the word of YaHuWaH to others. So thank you so much for joining us. I really hope you learned something. We have learned something today. And we hope to see you next week, next Shabbat. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful Shabbat, continuation of Shabbat. And enjoy the weather in your area, because most of you are in the northern part with summer. Yeah. We are already in winter.
Yeah.
But I like winter, actually. Yeah. So keep praying for one another. So see you next week. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
See you next week. And we're going to finish, with the sun. Last week it didn't work that well. We will see if this is going to work better now. Great and marvelous. So let's close there with this song. Okay? So see you next week. Shabbat Shalom.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
גדולים ונפלאים מעשיך אדוני, אלוהי צבאות, צדק ואמת דרכיך אלוהים, מלך הגויים. גדולים ונפלאים מעשיך אדוני, אלוהי צבאות, צדק ואמת דרכיך אלוהים, מלך הגויים. כי אתה לבדך קדוש, כי אתה לבדך קדוש, כי אתה לבדך קדוש, כי אתה לבדך קדוש. הן כל הגויים יבואו וישתחוו לפניך, כי נגלו אדוני אלוהים משפטי צדקך. הן כל הגויים יבואו וישתחוו לפניך,